There's never anyone at the gym, which is really nice for me. The biggest thing that's been weird is I'm really dehydrated. So each day I wake up super duper dehydrated, and then I drink like liters and liters of water until my pee is like a lighter shade of yellow, and I just feel completely dry all over. And that's been the case since we got here. And I've been super duper hydrated, and I don't know if it's like the climate or what, but we're not even indoors in AC that much, so I don't know what it is, but it's just so dry. Hotel dinner.
Not bad.
Boiled eggs.
最好真的有锅的。
We went to a local grocery store and found some instant noodles that were not bad. The second part of our Morocco trip included a lot of what we went there for. So one of the things was the Blue City, and the other was riding camels, and we did both. On the way to Medique, we stopped by Chefchaouen and we checked out their local Medina. I did really enjoy looking at all the different tiles and the Moroccan signature geometric designs. As usual, the swords and knives drew my attention. I later tried to purchase some, but it was way too expensive. Bathtub. Shower again with no curtain. Pooping room. Luggage is here. So we can use the bathtub.
Where is the shower?
Over there.
Yeah.
And then this is our two beds conjoined. There's a ceiling mustache or bat. And this is the balcony. Yao. Yao, bu yao. Yao.
Yao.
Yao. Higher, higher. Little kids screaming. This hotel was one of the nicer ones that we stayed at in terms of amenities. They had a huge spa with a hammam, and it was located right on the beach, so great access to the beach, beautiful waters, and they were so generous with delivering water to our rooms. This is self-entertainment. I video you, you video me. It would have been really funny if I rocked myself out of this hammock. I clearly don't know how to lay in a hammock or relax. Despite the awesome location, it was really isolated from everything, so after we got to the hotel, we were kind of stuck there, like there wasn't local stuff we could check out. The next day, we were on the road again, and I found a pretty delicious chicken and rice meal. Rabbit. Chicken? Duck.
Ducks. Yeah, city kid.
We finally made it to Chefchaouen, and this was kind of the whole reason that we went to Morocco. We heard about this beautiful blue city and we wanted to check it out. This city is definitely worth checking out. If you are visiting Morocco, it might require either staying there overnight or doing a day trip from a bigger city because transportation is a little bit hard. I know that there are some buses that do day trips. For us, we were just passing through, and I definitely wish we had more time here, but we did a lot with what time we had. She's a model now. She started in Paris, and now she's a Moroccan model. Just me and my two Asian moms. I booked this photo shoot ahead of time and managed to time it perfectly to the exact hour that we had free to wander around. We had a really thorough walking tour along with some great memories, and this photographer was so professional to work with. It was so comfortable working with him, and I'm so glad we made it work. This also gave me a chance to wear their local clothing, which is a jalaba, but I got one ahead of time because I didn't know if we would have time for shopping there, and it wasn't like a super local look, but the idea was very similar, and now I have jalabas for various occasions. It was a little tricky to change into various outfits while trying to be modest on the streets for the shoot, and it was really tricky to find a bathroom. We managed to find a cafe, which is zooming in right there, and communicate somehow without really using language that we were just trying to purchase the use of their bathroom because we didn't have time to stop and grab a coffee. Behind me, that is some local bread that we purchased from a local bakery that was just like a hole in the wall. And then we were approached by some local kids who spoke Mandarin.
Oh, this is euro. 我给他40 50，所以他找你 euro。就是说 this is
10块钱，
他20，那这个呢
10 块钱。
这是你们 local 的 money。
This is dirham.
This is euro.
This is euro. This is dirham.
How about this one?
Poo 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 poo.
我be careful。我是因为那个小孩，我
那个小孩还真的会讲中文。
对啊。
I was really sad to be leaving the Blue City since it was so beautiful and I felt like we had just started to see it. Even the view leaving it was really breathtaking. Next, we headed to Fez for 2 nights where we stayed at a riad, which is a converted former palace, so it didn't have the regular hotel amenities, but it was a really cool experience because it felt like you were living in someone's home. So this is a hotel that was converted from someone's house. It's probably the most interesting place that we'll be staying at. However, there is no gym. They have yoga here though, and they have hammam services. And all of the rooms here are different. I think that goes to the neighbors. This was the view from the roof, and we were told by our tour manager not to leave because we would get lost and we would never find our way back. Upon getting off the bus, I immediately was approached by a local dude who asked for my phone number, and I think once he found out that I was with a tour group and he knew the name of the group, he actually backed off and left me alone. So it was kind of good to travel with a group in that sense for security purposes. We started our first full day in Fez with a panoramic view of the city, and they explained to us that this Medina would be impossible to navigate and emphasize that it is a maze and that we need to not go in on our own. And my mom and I did end up going in on our own, but we survived. There were a lot of movies that were filmed in Morocco, and specifically in Fez. the recent Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny had a scene that was shot in Fez, but it was scripted as Tangier. Next, we stopped at the Royal Palace. It is closed to the public and it is really crowded, so definitely need to get in line to get a good view of these doors, but worth the wait.
Because I did my research on mini fjords.
Whoa!
The tannery is a famous stop in Fez. It's one of the oldest and largest, and every visitor is given a mint leaf to help mask that beautiful pigeon smell of pigeon poo, because that's what's used to process the leather. We had a little bit of time for sightseeing and souvenir shopping, and then we stopped at a local family's house and they hosted us for dinner. It was one of the best meals that we had on this trip.
About this stop, huh?
So you thought we were going to Marrakesh today?
Yeah. Welcome to Marrakesh. 有一天。这里没有 Medina。可以自己走一下。So many steps， 好多地方可以散步。This is our walk tonight.
We just stayed here overnight to be close to the next day's activities, which were some waterfalls and monkey sightseeing. This was the sunrise around breakfast time, and I just thought it was really beautiful. Around the Uzud waterfall, you can find these Barbary macaques. They are tailless monkeys. They seem friendly and kind of playful, but I would not recommend going too close to them just to be safe, although it was really tempting and I wanted to play with them. They are in groups and there's often little ones, so I think the parents are probably going to be pretty protective.
This is Emily in Paris.
Our next and final stop was Marrakesh, and that's often one of the more famous cities of Morocco, like something when you tell someone you're going to Morocco, one of the cities that they'll mention. It is very rich in culture and also nightlife. We decided to do our own day trip, which involved me living off of 6 eggs. I think I relied on those gelato containers to carry my snacks for this whole trip, and I definitely had days where I ate a dozen eggs out of necessity. My mom and I went on this 12-hour excursion to Ait Ben Haddou, and we were kind of debating, it would be a really long trip, it would be really close to when we're flying back, just, safety reasons, but it was so worth the visit. They included the Atlas Studios as part of the trip, and it was a good rest stop, but it's nothing like Universal Studios, if that's what you're expecting. After a 4-hour drive through the Atlas Mountains, we arrived at Ait Ben Haddou, and a local tour guide who lives here showed us the village. There are actual people who still live there. I believe there's no electricity. Those were the gates that served as yunkai for Game of Thrones, and this is where I learned that camels bite. This is the bridge that you cross when you're leaving, and it's like you have a bridge that goes in and a bridge that comes out, but this one is not as well built. It is a little bit windy, and we actually got pretty lucky timing-wise because at the peak heat of the day we were at Atlas Studios and there was not very much shade. It was really unforgiving desert heat, and then when we got here in the afternoon there was a pretty strong breeze, and that made this hike walk way more comfortable. Marrakesh is a great hub for doing day trips like this. other option if you wanted to see the desert would be to stay there because it is a 4-hour drive and you can go like a couple hours to the west and see something totally different, which is also a Game of Thrones location that I might want to visit in the future.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. I can't see anything. Yeah. Whoa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh. 开始咬人了。
啊，
米线很好看，
是。你这个像那个这个的 story。
Baby. Happy Mother's Day. The camel ride was a very awesome experience. I was a little worried that maybe these poor camels are tired of tourists riding them, but they seem to be really well taken care of. These dromedaries are smaller camels with one hump, and they are found in North Africa.
Whoa! So we all have to do that, right?
Yeah, to get off the.
That's how you get off? Oh.
We stopped for a little bit of tea and some henna tattoos, and then we headed off to Margerel Gardens. I would recommend visiting. It is really pretty and I love the colors. It is really crowded though, so I would recommend going earlier in the day rather than the peak sunlight time that was the only time that worked for us.
Beautiful 厕所.
The next day, we headed to the airport and we got to see airport cats. I have no idea how they got in or why they let them stay in there, but it was cool to see them. Thank you so much for sticking around through my months-long effort to make this video. I will be embarking on my next trip very soon, and I can't wait to take you along.